Yeah, they were like, oh, your tweet. So I made a tweet saying I don't have a body pillow on Cuddly Octopus because they have like underage avatars. Not like 110 years old, but like actual underage, right? We've already had this whole conversation. It's wrong, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like some people who are like open lolly lovers or open people who like lewd lollies or are like pedos, basically.
Like you, by your own standards.
Like, bro, your likes are public. Your likes are public.
They are.
And I don't be liking anything fucking sussy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they did screenshot some, and I do feel fucking terrible.
She feels
honestly,
terrible.
Because I didn't even realize, like, some of the characters were underage.
And of course, there are also your pedophiles and all that.
Oh, well, you kind of glossed over that. What do you mean by that?
Well, you got people that the lolly debate is really huge in the VTuber scene. Like, you got lolly VTubers, you got VTubers that talk about liking lollies, you got Discord servers of VTubers that are liking lollies and stuff. And the claim is, well, you know, she's a 3,000-year-old vampire that looks like a 12-year-old girl. That's too volatile. I wouldn't want to touch that with a 6-foot pole.
Earlier this year, I covered a story involving a popular indie VTuber by the name of Bungo Taiga, and the contents of that video revolved around a document claiming that this individual was toxic towards mods, transphobic, and made claims of pedophilia as well. Well, fast forward to the beginning of this month, and all of those claims have apparently been proven false through a document called the Exoneration of Bungo Taiga. The document starts off explaining why it's being made and that the creator of the document is a, quote, investigator that wishes for their identity to be private to stop people from harassing anyone they associate with. It continues with, quote, Bungo Taiga has been accused of being a pedophile and possible child abuser. However, something glanced over by the public are the two sources and the distributor of these accusations. Discussing these things brings a lot of context to the original doc and brings its validity and purpose into question. The doc written on Taiga that alleges he is a Shotokan, pedophile, racist, transphobe, and that he is toxic was pushed by his stalker using an old doc made half a year prior by two of Taiga's former mods, Gilk and Ozzy, both banned a few months apart, and then the doc against Taiga appearing 3 weeks after Gilk was banned from Taiga's Discord for calling Taiga a money whore.
What's good? It's your boy, the Lolicon expert here, also the underground Lolicon hero, effing all these Lolicon anime chicks. You know, it's always a good time to talk about some lolly content, especially when people are retarded as hell when it comes to it, not knowing a single shred of things when it comes to what a lolly is or anything like that. Sounds like you need to eat an F5. Sounds like you need to get eliminated from the Royal Rumble so Logan Paul can hit his whole ass air dive thing with Ricochet. That shit was impressive. For a crypto man, that was actually very impressive. Now, to my VTubing people, my VTubing ass people, if you do not necessarily know what a lolly is, here's a bad and bougie rundown montage of a few lolly characters. Here you go. Let's throw one thing clearly into the scene here. Lolly is not about the age, it is about body type, which, spoilers for you, if you're a VTuber that does not like flat chests, you're body shaming, so you're a piece of shit. So definitely when it comes down to things, it is more about the body type than it is about age. Because ages don't mean shit in anime. You could be 1,000 years old, you could be 10, you could be 54, you could be any type of age you want to be, but it just depends on your creative idea of what your character is going to be. For example, my character technically is 16, but even though he's 16, he can go back and revert his own age to being a 7-year-old kid, which is why he has his Shota form. Or maybe I should make my mature form 18 years old. I don't necessarily know. Ages don't matter. At least in anime it doesn't. But what I just did basically with my character breaks the rules. You can't go back to your old age. Yes, I can, because it's my freaking fiction. It's my character. Leave me alone, you dipshit. And obviously, if it's literally coded in fiction and it's literally unrealistic as hell, that's something that you also shouldn't be bothered with too. You could be a mouse that can get her ass ate. You can also be a guy that reports on the news of the things that's going on in Twitter and sound like a guy but in a girl's body, and also sound like a pixie from Fairly Odd Parents. You can do whatever you want because it's actually fiction, and nothing really is that important to this degree that needs to be cancelled, honestly, when it comes to fiction, if I'm being very honest with you. But the internet don't see it that way, which is weird, because if you ask literally anybody at an anime convention, they'll say it's fine, or it's not necessarily anything that's too crazy, you know? So that's the whole thing when it comes down to it. Now, this is something that happened to me yesterday that I ended up finding out, and that was shocking, but it really shouldn't be. So I was going out yesterday, having myself a nice time in the real world, and then all of a sudden I was talking to this individual who was talking about anime. They ain't deep in anime, but they're, you know, into it. They know enough of it. They've been around it for a long time, so that's pretty damn cool. And it ended up what happening was they talked about Loli and said it's completely fine if it's fictional, but if it's real, then absolutely no, get that away, put them in jail, absolutely, and I agree with that 100%. And the thing is, this person has literally no type of accounts on Twitter or anything like that when it comes to social media or anything. They are grounded in reality. Like, they are actually more into the reality of things than on some internet nonsense, hiding your face behind screens and cameras type of stuff, which a lot of people do, my ass included. And the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's just like, wow, a person that is not on social media like that, who isn't a dumbass Twitter person, and actually knows things and is actually really grounded in reality, they're even okay with it. What does that honestly say about Twitter? That is not a real place. That is honestly full of people that has a lot of surface level like opinions, but if it really was said like realistically, it probably wouldn't hold any type of weight, honestly. Which it makes me think, I feel like people are just saying that they hate Loli, or just saying it just because of clout, just because they want some attention, just because, you know, it's something they can just say because why the hell not, and because they don't think there's any type of real consequences that come to it. And it's shitty. It is shitty. I ain't gonna necessarily hold you. It is quite shitty, like 100%. And the thing is too, you could be against it, and I'm not saying you need to be forced into it. You can be against it, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to like it, that's fine. But when you start going around trying to harass people over it, or like try to cancel things when it comes to it, or just like do something stupid with the topic, then that's when people have a problem. Because people slap around the word pedo to like literally anything, and it doesn't necessarily make any kind of sense whatsoever. They just throw it around just because they can throw it around. It's kind of like how back in the day people used to say everything is gay and whatever, but nowadays they can't say that. Here's something that's always bothered me about the VTubing space. Why is there so many anti-Loli VTubers that's out there? Or just anti-Loli hate when it comes to it in general? Because let's think about it real quick. We already have Gargura as the top Loli VTuber to be existing, and is the pinnacle of Loli people. And then at the same time, you also have people that used to like Loli, but honestly hate it now because they are part of a group or organization and just try to do things to not be so Loli-ish and stuff now. And then you also have people that goes as far as to harass other Loli VTubers and try to make them go private and then try to rebrand that like things are okay now. Then you also have like people that go as far as to say they hate Loli, but then end up having like Loli characters in their likes and stuff, doing a full-blown, well, that's what literally it is, and it doesn't necessarily make any kind of sense. So why is this happening? And then you also gotta think about it too, that there's a shit ton of big boob VTubers, a lot of big boob VTubers, and that makes you wonder why is this a thing? Why can't we have like, you know, a mommy VTuber who is flat chested as hell? Why can't we necessarily have that? It's just so weird to me, honestly. And then you gotta realize something too that's added with it. A potential big reason why this is the case is that people just don't watch anime. There's a lot of VTubers that don't watch anime and don't know necessarily the knowledge of it and anything of the sort, yet use a VTubing model that is literally the representation, breathing soul of anime, and yet they don't know necessarily what Goku is, or what is a ninja from Naruto, or anything like that. The basic knowledge of anime, they don't know any of that, yet they use an anime as avatar just because it looks cute. That's the equivalent of someone saying, oh, I like the symbol from Tokyo Revengers with the whole weird symbol that obviously I cannot show on this channel because that will be some very messed up thing. But I like the design of that symbol or something like that, and you start wearing it in real life and people are going to start questioning the hell out of you. Yes, there are just some things you need to look into before you actually just act out on it or just do it. But we gotta realize, people in this day and age don't think. They're mindless cunts. If we gotta be perfectly honest about it. We gotta remember, people are simple-minded as hell like the Cowboys fans. So if they don't necessarily see anything that is up to their taste, they'll just outright hate it and cancel it whatsoever. Even if it leads into false accusations, into false claims, possibly ruining other people's career, and just outright believing it without even hearing the other side of the story. Like I did with Bungo Taiga, and like I did with Cuddly Octopus, and pretty much anybody that got canceled and hit for it overall, big or small, you know? And it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Everybody that likes Lolly in some shape or form are always getting hate or something in general. My ass have been getting it constantly. You know, it's still a thing that's going on now. I just don't really care for it, honestly. And the thing is too, fiction just has literally everything. You can plaster anything into fiction, yet certain things isn't okay. Yet you have like a whole ass crucifixion in Cyberpunk, yet that's perfectly fine. Yet you have like Doom out here goring the hell out of enemies, yet that's perfectly fine. But a whole ass lolly on your screen is like the most evilest thing that you can possibly have. That doesn't make any kind of sense to me. How can those two parts of fiction be okay and replicated even from possible real world events, but like Lolly can't? And it just is put into this weird ass limbo. It doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes down to everything. If you don't like it, we get it, it's understandable. Morally, yes, it's very freaking wrong. But at the same time, fiction wise, it shouldn't be cancelled because it just is what it is. It's not hurting anybody, there is nothing necessarily going wrong. And honestly, it would be very nice for once if everybody on the internet and every VTuber honestly can stop acting like greasy cunts. Definitely, that's basically all I'm gonna say for this one, honestly. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we're out. Also follow me on the socials and you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off, have a blessed day, and all to the VTubers out there, don't be a greasy lolly hating cunt.